A very tragic situation this morning. A family devastated after a 4-year-old girl drowned in an above-ground pool during a gathering at a Southwest Side home. According to San Antonio police, officers were initially called for a missing child around 8 o'clock last night in the 9100 block of Ocean Gate. The girl got away while the family of 15 was gathered outside. After 30 minutes of searching, they called authorities for help. Police arrived a short time later. Officers found the little girl face down in an above-ground pool in the backyard of the home. The child was taken out of the pool and police began life-saving measures. She coughed up water on an officer and was taken by EMS to a hospital where she died. The family told officers the ladder to the pool was removed and it's not known how the little girl got into the pool itself.
2 shootings in 2 weeks on the same street, and neighbors don't think it's a coincidence. And some residents say it's only a matter of time before their home is the next target.
KSAT's John Paul Barajas spoke to some Southside neighbors about what their security cameras have captured.
Makes me very nervous. That really, I'm scared.
Waking up to the sound of gunshots has left those who live off Oxana and Creek Place on edge. So much so that only one of the 5 neighbors we talked to would go on camera on the condition that we didn't show her face.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
That insecurity is after this drive-by, the second shooting in 15 days. On July 10th, there was a shootout between cars. Another angle from earlier that night shows the cars driving through people's yards as they continued shooting at each other as they made their way down the street.
Get the cops over here.
San Antonio police have shown up for both incidents looking for evidence.
I saw holes there, but it was like from the construction.
Not much has turned up.
We heard find it, right?
We're good. We're good, thank you.
But neighbors tell us at least 2 cars have been hit.
I don't know if they're ever going to stop unless they hurt somebody. They're doing that. They don't care. They don't care who they hurt.
She says she replays the sounds of gunshots every night before going to bed.
It was bap, 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 bap.
Now, San Antonio police say they are investigating both cases as a discharged firearm and aggravated assault, deadly conduct. But at this time, no arrests have been made, so they're asking anybody with information to call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. At Public Safety Headquarters, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Accusations that the government is hiding evidence of UFOs taking center stage on Capitol Hill.
One witness testified about alien beings and spacecraft supposedly now in U.S. possession. And as ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, lawmakers are demanding answers amid growing concern over national security.
On Capitol Hill, a former Air Force intelligence officer testified yesterday that he believes the U.S. is concealing unidentified flying objects that crashed and may even be concealing alien life forms.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
David Grush appeared alongside 2 former fighter pilots who reported seeing UFOs, telling the Congressional Oversight Committee that the U.S. has been aware of these mysterious objects for nearly a century.
I like to use the term non-human. I don't like to denote origin. Keeps the aperture open, previously 1930s.
It's the latest in the disclosure surrounding unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, the government's term for UFOs. And while the mention of UFOs brings to mind images of otherworldly creatures emerging from a futuristic spaceship, those in Washington are more concerned that sightings like these from fighter pilots could be tied to America's foreign adversaries. But Grush claims not all the encounters have been of this earth.
We believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier. Do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to.
Grush did not cite any evidence supporting his allegations. He claims such information is classified. The Pentagon denies any cover-up. But both Republicans and Democrats are now pushing for more transparency from the military, noting whether they're from Earth or not, they could pose a national security risk. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Well, the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates again. It's reviving its inflation fight despite a significant cool down of price increases in recent months. Inflation has fallen significantly from a peak last summer, remains at only 3%, 3%, only 1 percentage point higher than the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. Latest rate increase is bad news for anyone in need of a loan. New car loans are at a 15-year high, and mortgage rates have nearly doubled since March of 2022. Credit card rates are now averaging a record 20%.
We are learning more about recent moments of concern for the top GOP leader in the U.S. Senate. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell froze during a news conference that was yesterday. McConnell has not explained why he froze up, but an aide claimed that the lawmaker was feeling lightheaded. Sources say he has suffered at least 3 falls this year. One of those happened just this month as he was getting off the plane at Reagan National Airport in Washington. McConnell returned to the U.S. Capitol later that day.
The Mega Millions jackpot climbed to an estimated $910 million. It's after a drawing without a winner extended a stretch of bad luck dating back to April. There have been 28 drawings without a big winner. The new $910 million prize for tomorrow night's drawing is among the largest in U.S. lottery history. It follows a $1 billion Powerball prize won by a player last week in Los Angeles. Good luck. 438, 78 degrees.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.